welcome everybody to GeekStorm's Comics in Review. Comics are out on Wednesday. Today happens to be Wednesday. We've got brand new books in, so let's talk comics. First up, a couple of big number ones this week from Marvel and DC. Not saying that some of the indies and Image and all those don't have number ones, but for sheer sales, what's out there, what's going to be easy to find, I think there's going to be two books you're going to find on the shelves at comic shops all over the country. And that is going to be Daredevil number 1 by Mark Waid and the brand new Scott Snyder second series of American Vampire. Both of them out fresh this week. Both of them basically relaunches of books that have already been out. Marvel takes Daredevil, outs him. Everybody now knows that Matt Murdock really is Daredevil because Matt himself came out and said in the last issue of his last book, I'm Daredevil. And then they promptly ended it. And then 1 month later, Daredevil number 1. Matt Murdock / Daredevil now in the open has moved out to San Francisco where he resided just shortly in some time in his comic past, and we're setting up some brand new characters, storylines. He doesn't have all of New York to club around and fly through the air and do his leaps, so he's learning San Francisco is a very different area, different ground to cover. Very first story, we're dealing with a kidnapping and a bomb and some interesting things going on. Matt's got to make some difficult choices. Daredevil's in action. Really pretty tight issue. Not really that much different, though, than his last series. Now, to keep in mind, first issue, jump on point. It's perfect. You don't have to know anything about Daredevil to really catch in on what's going on. So if you're looking to start a new book, it's a really good way to start. If you're a fan of the last Daredevil series, it's just a continuation for you. So it's really good for just about everybody. DC's Vertigo, which is by far one of my favorite imprints that's out there right now from just about anybody, and has been for, almost 20 plus years or however long they've been putting out Hellblazer, since before it was actually a Vertigo title, regardless. American Vampire second cycle. The idea is really simple. They did a bunch of stories in the first cycle. Now they're starting it over. Brand new number 1. If you're a fan of the original American Vampire stuff, characters you're going to be familiar with, storylines, concepts you're going to be familiar with, still going on. If you're not familiar with American Vampire, you do not have to worry about the continuity and everything. They have written and produced and put this together in a way that is going to be absolutely perfect for a new reader. This particular book is going to follow 2 characters, a female vampire that was changed around the 1920s or so, Hollywood actress, and the other one is a bad boy from the American West, and these are American vampires. It's kind of the title, it's kind of the concept. The idea is that different vampires from different regions of the world act in a little bit of a different manner. This has got a lot of depth to it. This isn't just some cheesy, hokey horror story. These characters are well-developed, layered, very interesting, and both have different kinds of storylines. So for people who are into vampires, mystery, suspense, that kind of stuff, really good book. For those who want superheroes with tights, Daredevil number 1 is easily the way to go this week. From Image, we got a brand new number 1 called Sovereign. Image Comics, basically number 3 right now in the comic book industry behind Marvel and DC, has been putting out a load of great books, including Saga, East of West, 5 Ghosts of Fabian Gray. Some wonderful new stuff's been coming out, and we're talking all kinds of different genres, from horror to mystery to action to a little bit of sci-fi. In this particular one, we get a little bit of a medieval kind of a world with odes to European flair, odes to desert writers, ode to a little bit of a pirate thing, ode to sucks, no good at all. Great big zero. The story follows 3 different plots. Neither one gives you enough depth to really get into a story. They break it all up. Now, yes, I'm sure that the writer is going to put this all together in a way that eventually it comes together and it makes great sense. But when I'm only getting like 4 or 5 pages, I get 6 or 7 pages of each little concept, I'm not getting enough to get involved. The art, while not necessarily great or bad in my opinion, not necessarily a style that I enjoy, is oftentimes murky and confusing with you having to really study, investigate, get into it. Now, you're like, well, that sounds like a good thing. When I got to look at a panel to just figure out what the hell is going on and look at it and stare at it, go back a couple of panels. Like, what is going on? The writing isn't going well to explain what I am seeing. There's been a trend in the whole show don't tell. Let the writer do one thing, let the artist do one thing, working together to create a cohesive whole. This was not a cohesive whole for me. Other people might love it. I've been wrong on a lot of things that other people have loved. This for me, giant pass. Not very interesting, not well put together. Fabian Gray number like 10 is out today or something like that. Check that out. Fuse number 2 is out today. Check that out. We still got Fuse number 1s on the shelves. There are good books. This just simply wasn't one of them. From Dark Horse, we get Witcher, which our producer probably knows is a video game thing because he's a big video game guy. And whereas it's a fairly simplistic story following haunted ghost type stories from, you know, time eternal, when we've been telling those kind of stories. The guy is the Witcher, goes around killing supernatural kind of craziness. Imagine Hellboy in a medieval setting. Conan evolved up through the age. Solomon Kane, actually. I would go, he's very Solomon Kane-like. Solomon Kane meets Assassin's Creed is what it feels like, with a Hellboy-like kind of feel thrown in for your monsters, your mystery, and the things surrounding it. In this particular one, good jump-on issue. It's the first issue. Well put together. Good art. Not incredibly depth-ridden, but enough going on, enough mysteries, enough interesting things that it blew Sovereign away, and it's based on a video game license. So check that out. I really recommend it. Some of the things I haven't, let's see what, yeah, we got some good stuff. Check this out. New Curse number 3. We're talking from Boom. Werewolves. Interesting book. Good to read. It's the third of 4 issues. It's getting ready to finish up pretty soon. My all-time pick right now, my pick every month, very solid, Nova. Nova's a great book, great writing, good story. If you're a superhero guy, cosmic kind of thing. So Guardians of the Galaxy fans might get something out of it. He's a teenage, he's like 15 years old, so younger kids are gonna get something out of it. Written and drawn in a manner that's gonna appeal to everyone. It's really gonna hit a wide audience. So really good book, always worth checking out. Some of the stuff I haven't had a chance to read yet, but I'm looking forward to. From Blue Juice Comics, fairly new company I'm not familiar with, Tim Yates and Bonnie. It looks like it's a pirate tale drawn in a young reader's fashion, but with enough, what looks to be, and again, haven't read it yet, but looks to be enough story to entertain an adult. Iron Man starts off a brand new storyline, Rings of the Mandarin. Those who saw the movie saw that the Mandarin was played by some huckster and was a fake. Well, this is the real Mandarin, and the real Mandarin is badass. So he is one of the all-time greatest Iron Man foes, so it's going to be well worth checking out. Spider-Man Annual, which I just throw on the floor. Can't wait to check it out. So some great stuff coming out this week. Stop by Comics Cube, located in the heart of downtown Kokomo at 121 East Sycamore. Check out my good friends over at Kokomo Toys. They've got a grand selection of a brand new collection of superhero action figures they just picked up. And don't forget to check out Goblin Games. Some great stuff going on. Tonight, over at Pepper Whistle, Wednesday, third Wednesday of every month is game night. So stop by and learn how to play some games. I'm Shawn Hilton. I love comics, and I hope you've learned something. Be groovy.